call this meeting to order. Please stand for the flag salute and remain standing for a moment of silence. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Circo,
Present.
Commissioner Moroz,
Present.
Commissioner Edison,
Present.
Commissioner Pollock-Root, Present, Commissioner Sotile.
Present.
All right. Welcome to the Elkhorn Planning Commission meeting. This meeting is being live streamed on the City of Elkhorn website. Appeals of final decisions of the Planning Commission made this evening must be filed in writing with the City Clerk before 5 p.m. Friday, May 15th, 2026, and must include the payment of a filing fee. If you wish to speak on either a non-agenda or agenda item tonight, please fill out a request to speak card located by the Secretary and give it to the Secretary, who will call you up to speak when the agenda item comes up for public comment. We ask that you give us your name, spelling your last name. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. The display on the podium, as well as the other monitors in the chambers, will show time counting down. At 30 seconds, the podium clock readout will turn red, signifying you have 30 seconds until the end of your time. Applicants and individuals representing groups of people may be allowed more time if appropriate. All public hearing comments should be addressed to me as the chair of the commission and not to individual commissioners or to staff members. Please turn off all electronic devices if you have not already done so. Pursuant to City Council Resolution number 114-79, a commissioner who has received evidence related to a matter before the Planning Commission, other than an unescorted view of the subject property, is required to disclose such information at the hearing. At this time, we will take comments from any member of the public on any item of business within the jurisdiction of the Commission that is not on the agenda. Under state law, no action can be taken on items brought forward under public comment, except to refer it to staff or administration or place it on a future agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to address the Commission under public comment? All right. Were there any public comments submitted prior to the meeting?
No public comments were received.
All right. Let's move on to the consent calendar. A single motion will cover all items on the consent calendar. Does the Commission wish to pull consent calendar item for discussion?
Nope.
Does staff wish to pull a consent calendar item for discussion?
No.
All right. Then it goes to a vote.
I move to adopt consent calendar.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moroz, second by Commissioner Edison. Please vote.
Motion carried by unanimous vote.
All right. The first public hearing item, item number 2, is the Granite Hills 11-unit planned unit development. The request is a new common interest development for 11 single-family detached residences. It is CEQA exempt, and staff is recommending City Council approval.
Great. And I need to recuse myself on this one for business dealings with the applicant.
All right. Staff.
All right. Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Spencer Hayes Flores. I am the Associate Planner with Development Services Department. The first item on for your consideration this evening is for a new construction plan unit development, or a PUD, and the accompanying tentative subdivision map, or TSM. The project is submitted by Priest Development Corporation on behalf of Inland Valley Investments, LLC. The proposal consists of 11 residential sublots, each with a market rate single-family dwelling unit with an attached 2-car garage, private rear yard, and supplemental on-site parking, among other on- and off-site improvements. The proposed project also includes 1 common lot for private street access and utilities. The project site is addressed as 1426 Granite Hills Drive, which is on the north side of the street between Dorothy Street and Hamashaw Road. The site is within the low-density residential general plan land use designation and has a consistent residential single-family RS9 zoning designation. The LR designation is intended for residential density up to 10 dwelling units per acre. The project site is approximately 1.11 acres and is directly adjacent to other plan unit developments as well as other single-family uses. A vacant single-family residence currently occupies the site, and according to building records, the dwelling unit was constructed in 1953. The structure is not included on the city's records of sites with any sort of potential historic significance, and the project and building records are absent of any details of architectural or cultural importance. Finally, this site is included in the 2021 to 2029 housing element sites inventory. The sites inventory demonstrates that the city has adequately planned to accommodate housing needs at different income levels. And so the inventory anticipated 4 units in the above moderate category for income, and the proposed 11 units, and at the proposed 11 units, the site, the project proposes a surplus of 7 units in compliance with the housing element. This is the proposed PUD site plan, which is consistent with all development standards of the plan unit development section of the zoning code. For display purposes, I've rotated this exhibit 90 degrees so that Granite Hills Drive is on the left side. The 11 single-family homes are situated on either side of the private street. That private street is 24 feet wide throughout and includes a hammerhead for a fire apparatus turnaround consistent with the California Fire Code. Plans include a pedestrian sidewalk extending from the public street at Granite Hills to the rear of the site, which is the north, to the common open space area. All proposed residences meet or exceed the minimum setback of 10 feet from the adjacent properties to the east, west, and north, as well as from the private street. The residences also observe an interior setback of 5 feet, which means that each of the units within the development is separated by 10 feet from the other unit. Private driveways are at least 22 feet 6 inches in depth, which ensures that vehicles will not be overhanging the private street or the pedestrian path. This is the proposed tentative subdivision map in the same orientation as the last exhibit, with Granite Hills on the left. The proposed residential sublots range from about 3,000 square feet to over 4,000 square feet and are loosely highlighted in blue in this exhibit. Public improvements include a new 24-foot wide driveway on Granite Hills Drive, as well as the accompanying curb, gutter, and sidewalk across the rest of that frontage. Other improvements include half-width street overlay and the revision to existing stormwater drains in that area in the right-of-way. The site is relatively flat, with only a few feet of elevation difference between the east and west property lines. Conceptual grading indicates that a 3-foot tall retaining wall would be necessary along a portion of the westerly property line, but no soils import or export are anticipated in order to achieve the building pads, site drainage, or utilities connections. And this slide shows the proposed building elevations. Proposed elevations are consistent with the general plan architectural guidelines in the zoning code and include a covered entry porch, variations in wall planes, decorative window trim, and a mix of exterior finishes including stucco, fiber cement board, and stone veneer. The color palette is consists of neutral earth tones to complement those various finishes. Each residence is approximately 2,200 square feet with 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a garage that is roughly 480 square feet. The garage includes an alcove for laundry and other mechanical equipment. So an additional requirement of the plan unit development is the recordation of covenants, conditions, and restrictions, or CC&Rs, as well as the formation of a homeowners association or an HOA. The CC&Rs are establish and enforce private rules governing the property use, maintenance, and shared responsibilities, and they ensure the maintenance of all the common infrastructure, such as the private street, common landscaping, common utilities, and stormwater facilities. This is just a brief summary of the proposed project findings. Generally, it can be found that the project supports the general plan and housing element goals and delivers more units than anticipated by the site's inventory. The project is consistent with the applicable PUD development standards at a site with no special constraints. And further, the project will not interfere with existing public facilities or any easements on record. It is proposed that the project is exempt from environmental review pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act guidelines, Section 15332, for infill development projects. Section 15332 applies to small urban sites where development is consistent with the zoning and general plan, where that has no significance of environmental importance, is adequately served by public utilities, and avoids other impacts to traffic, noise, air quality, and water quality. It's staff's recommendation that the Planning Commission recommend City Council approval of the CEQA determination, as well as Plan Unit Development number 2025-0002 and tentative subdivision map number 2025-0017, subject to conditions, since they're consistent with the general plan and housing development goals, and it provides for a variety of housing types and creates home ownership opportunities within the city. And that concludes staff's presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff?
None. Very clean, concise as usual. Thank you.
Perfect.
All right. Let's open the public hearing. Do we have any comments submitted or speaker cards?
No public comments for this item.
Okay. Does anybody wish to speak on this item? Go ahead and come forward.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Travis Lyon. I'm here on behalf of Priest Development Corporation, and I can answer any questions if you have them. If not, I really appreciate the opportunity to present the project and appreciate staff's work in demonstrating it well. So,
Okay. Any questions?
Are
for
you the
developer?
designer?
I'm not the designer. I'm president of real estate operations for Priest Development, and so I work alongside our design team and our entitlement team.
Right.
And so definitely had feedback as the project was being designed and acquired.
Well, compliment the designer, did a great job. It looks very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I don't think we got any questions for you.
Forward. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So much.
All right. I guess I'll move to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Circo, second by Commissioner Sotile. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right.
I'd like to move for approval. Okay. I move to adopt the next resolution in order recommending City Council approval of the CEQA exempt PUD number 2025-0002 and TSM number 2025-0017, subject to the conditions.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Sotile, second by Commissioner Pollock-Rude. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Very clean, just like the proposal.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, this item will require final approval by the City Council. That public hearing has not been scheduled at this time, so a separate public hearing notice will be mailed to surrounding property owners in advance of that hearing.
Okay. All right.
Blank pages.
Next item on the agenda, item number 3, is the Episcopal Community Services Residential Care Facility. This is a request for a 24-hour non-medical 49-bed residential care facility for substance use disorder treatment. It is CEQA exempt, and staff is recommending approval.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Maiza Mazzini, and I am an assistant planner in the Development Services Department. This item is a conditional use permit application number 2026-0002, submitted by Wendy Garcia on behalf of Episcopal Community Services. This application proposes a residential care facility licensed by the California Department of Health Care Services. The subject application proposes converting the existing one-story facility at 1160 Broadway with a capacity of 49 beds. The facility will provide 24-hour non-medical support services for all male residents, dedicated to the treatment of substance use disorder. No expansion of the existing structure is proposed as part of the project. Planned improvements include interior modifications, facade refinements, and landscaping upgrades. The site is within the general commercial designation of the general plan and has an inconsistent residential multifamily 2,200 square feet or RM 2200 zoning designation. It is important to note that according to the residential land use table and the commercial land use table of the zoning code, a residential care facility may be approved through the same conditional use process within the RM 2200 zone and within the zone consistent with the CG general plan designation. The site is governed by CUP number 208, originally approved by the Planning Commission in 1965 for a residential care facility for the elderly. The most recent amendment to the CUP in 2012 changed the use from a residential care facility to a group residential facility, which does not require a state license. Since the proposed residential care facility represents the new use, distinct from the latest entitlement, a conditional use permit is the appropriate level of review and entitlement. The site is located at 1160 Broadway on the north side of the street between Oral Street and North First Street. The site is approximately 1 acre and abuts a 20-foot easement at the northerly side of the Broadway for the Broadway drainage channel. The project is surrounded by various commercial uses to the west, east, and south, and residentially developed properties under the jurisdiction of San Diego County to the north. The existing facility has a footprint of approximately 12,000 square feet, and the site also contains a detached 1,600 square foot one-story unit. Here's the proposed architectural plans from the agenda report. The main facility comprises 2 structures connected with an enclosed corridor. It will be dedicated to housing all male clients' beds, in addition to common area, amenity spaces, staff offices, dining room, a kitchen, and pantry. The existing detached structure will house all administration and management offices, in addition to a training room. 17 parking spaces previously established by the approved CUP is provided and are sufficient to support the anticipated level of clinical staff activity, which is expected to range from 5 to 13 on any given shift. New planter areas and restoration of existing landscape is proposed. Conditions of approval include a landscape documentation package, or LDP, consistent with the city's adopted landscape ordinance. The proposed exterior upgrades include new siding, paint, and added architectural detail at the building frontage using warm, neutral color palette. To address concerns about the potential impact of its operations on emergency services, the application includes a service demand analysis and operations plans. The analysis concludes that the projected number of calls for emergency services is 21.6 calls per year, or 0.06 calls per day, and therefore will not affect the effectiveness of response by Heartland Fire and Rescue, specifically Station 8. To minimize calls for service, the service demand analysis and operation plans also include a suite of procedures, including strict sobriety as a condition of participation, admission criteria limited to individuals capable of independently managing their physical health and prescribed medication, staff training in CPR, naloxone administration, and automated external defibrillator, and also on-site transportation for non-emergency medical needs. Required findings for the project can be made. The facility will be compatible with the community and surrounding lands uses with the proposed conditions. These include requiring the facility to implement its operation plans and service demand analysis, and should call exceed 10% of the projected volume, providing for cost recovery by the city, and a written response explaining the reason for the increase. This process gives the opportunity for the applicant and staff to work together to refine operations and achieve their own expectation for service demand and the provided numbers in application. If calls for service continue to exceed the 10% threshold, the Planning Commission may revoke or modify the conditions use permit. These conditions are not unusual for El Cajon conditional use permits, and they're not intended to prohibit the use of 911 system, but to ensure that calls for service remain as projected and do not result in increased response times for surrounding uses. Complete findings are provided in the agenda report. It is proposed that the project is exempt from environmental review requirements of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, pursuant to Section 1530 of the CEQA guidelines. The Section 15301 exemption is for existing facilities where only minor modifications are proposed. Staff therefore recommend approval of the CEQA determination and conditional use permit. This concludes staff's report, and I can answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions for staff?
I'll go first. I was writing down to try to be a little bit concise. Some of these might be for the applicant, but we've been down this road before with other residential treatments, so I just want to stay ahead of this. So, is this going to be walk-ins as well?
I think we would defer that question to the applicant.
Okay, that's fine. The calls for service, I'm just going to go on the record and say I think that number is off. Given what I've seen with other residentials, it's not a reflection on the residential treatment place, but it's on the clients themselves. The only number that they know is to call 911 for everything. I would like to bring a solution to this. We've seen it work a little bit with other places, that we add signage for, I don't know, for lack of a better term, for if you need help, if you need off-duty, off-hours phone calls, if you have any concerns regarding the property, having a sign outside the property that says, call this number if you have issues for non-emergencies. I think it would help Chief Lawson as well as his police force of getting unnecessary calls for service if they had signage for, if neighbors had concerns, because a lot of these things that happen come because some people will gravitate toward the property and cause unintended consequences. That was my second one.
Sure. I think that the commission does frequently see those types of facilities that are having issues with compatibility with surrounding properties. There's obviously other facilities in the city that are operating very effectively without high levels of calls for service. I can confirm that the operations plan that was presented to staff and as part of the agenda report was thoroughly reviewed by both the fire marshal and the police department, and they were both in support of recommending approval of this conditional use permit based on the projected calls for service. And so with that in mind, as well as the additional conditions that allow staff and the applicant to coordinate and refine operations as needed, staff has no concerns about the calls for service at this time. I think I would defer to the applicant with regards to additional signage or notifications from a staff perspective. I don't find that to be unreasonable. We've used that same approach in our deemed approved lodging ordinance, where they are required to have on the doors or in the individual rooms contact phone numbers for certain types of services. But again, I would defer to the applicant to see if they have concerns.
Very good. And I'll just ask two more questions to not monopolize the time. Are there clients there now?
The facility is not being operated by the applicant at this time.
Okay. And I'll just defer the rest. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Paul-Rude.
Just a quick question. I know the facility is gated. Is it going to remain gated then for the new applicant, or is there going to be another?
There's not a requirement for a gate, but they would be afforded the opportunity to have the site completely gated.
Okay. I just know because I'm a realtor, and our main office is 2 doors down, so I'm very well aware of that facility. And I know it was gated prior, so I just didn't know if that was going to be. But I'll ask the applicant if it's going to be a problem with that.
All right.
I have
Commissioner
two
Sotile.
questions. Have you had a response from the community regarding this facility?
We have not any comments from any of the surrounding property owners or residents.
And will the residents of this facility will be from the El Cajon community, or will they be countywide from any area in San Diego?
There's no stipulation as part of the conditional use permit about where residents come from, but I'm sure that the applicant can speak to the type of clients that they serve and where they typically come from.
One more question. Since it is a non-medical facility, primarily then would be counseling, the service that would be provided?
I think I would defer just to the applicant to address kind of the operational aspects of it, but in essence, it's just the residential care facility aspect that's allowed under the zoning regulations.
Right, okay. And these are people there who are there voluntarily, or would they be there by a court order?
It's voluntarily, is my understanding.
Okay.
Right. Any other questions for staff? Let's open the public hearing. Do we have any cards?
Yes, we have 3. First is Renee Mezzo.
Just a sec. Good evening, Chair and Planning Commission. Thanks so much for your time tonight. My name is Renee Mezzo. I'm with the Atlantis Group, and I represent the Episcopal Community Services, and we are excited to be here before you. I first wanted to thank staff for all their hard work, the back and forth, especially Maisa, who has been a joy to work with. We really appreciate her responsiveness and just her great attitude. So we look forward to this approval of the CUP. We have our whole team here, the architect, civil, landscape, and then I'm trying to get the person who did the service demand analysis on speaker. He wasn't able to attend. So if you do have any specific questions, we're here to answer anything, any questions that you have. I'd also like to introduce Elizabeth Wilberg. She is the CEO of Episcopal Community Services, and she has a short presentation to talk about what ECS does. So she just needs about 4.5 minutes. Is that okay?
I think we can handle 4.5 minutes.
Okay, great. And then I have the laptop with just like a quick PowerPoint. Are we able to show it? Okay. I plugged it into the. Yes. Okay.
Wonderful. And perfect. Thank you, Renee. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Elizabeth Wilberg, and I serve as the Chief Executive Officer of Episcopal Community Services. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight. I know you carry great responsibility for this community, and so we are very grateful to have the chance to share about ECS, who we are, the work that we do across the county, what we're proposing at 1160 Broadway, and how we approach safety and accountability and community partnership. And I hope to answer some of your questions in my next remarks. Oops. Uh-oh, Renee, I might need some help already.
Oh, go back.
There we go. Perfect, thank you. It's a team effort, right? So ECS is a 99-year-old nonprofit organization that has been serving San Diego County since 1927. We are faith-based, values-driven, and we serve all people regardless of their beliefs or backgrounds. So each year, ECS serves more than 10,500 people. These are individuals and families, and we serve them through programs focused on homelessness, mental health, substance use disorder treatment, and early childhood education. We operate 6 core programs at 20 locations across the region, supported by 475 professional staff. So for nearly a century, ECS has been earning the trust of our community by showing up consistently and responsibly and caring for the people in our community who really need us. All right, so this map shows our presence across San Diego County, and each location represents a community where ECS is already operating safely, collaboratively, and effectively. What sets our work apart, that makes me really proud of this organization, is our wraparound trauma-informed approach. So we don't offer a one-size-fits-all care for our clients. We really meet them where they are, and we provide the specific care that they need in order to stabilize and recover and move forward to be successful and really reach their potential. And just as importantly, we really take pride in being good neighbors. Our facilities are well maintained, they're professionally staffed, and integrated into their communities. In fact, ECS has operated a program here in El Cajon, our Accord DUI program, for 10 years. It's over on Arnell Avenue, and we've been in East County for 40 years. All right, at 1160 Broadway, ECS, as you know, is proposing a 49-bed residential substance use disorder treatment program for adults with addiction and, in many cases, co-occurring mental illness, mental health conditions, and homelessness. So this program would respond to a really critical gap in our regional system of care. Too many people, as you know, with serious substance use disorders are just cycling through emergency rooms and shelters, and they can't get access to high-quality residential treatment. And so we really feel called to step up and to interrupt that cycle and save lives. And this program will be voluntary, and it's structured, and it's a residential program, and clients will be referred through the county, through our partners, and actually through our own programs, and no walk-ins. So they are referred, and it's voluntary. Staff will be on site 24 hours a day, and most of our clients will remain in treatment for about 90 days. And so when fully operational, this program would serve about 200 individuals a year. So really helping them stabilize, connect to housing and employment, and really reintegrate into the community. The facility itself will be fully refurbished, as you can see from on the outside, to look and feel like a well-maintained residential home, and that's by design. Our goal is for this property to be something that the neighborhood can be proud of. I also want to address concerns directly. Safety is paramount to ECS. We operate similar residential programs elsewhere in San Diego County without incident. And we are aware that well-run treatment programs really reduce community impact by addressing issues before they become problems, okay? So we take a really proactive approach, and we're going to establish clear lines of communication with the neighborhood so concerns are addressed promptly and transparently. Commissioners, I'd like to close with this. This project is really about people. The people in our community who want help, who need help, but currently don't have anywhere to go. What we're proposing at 1160 Broadway is a place for healing and recovery, and it will save and change lives. ECS has spent nearly 100 years earning trust across San Diego County by doing exactly what we say we're going to do, and that's caring for people, maintaining our properties, and being responsible community partners. So we're asking you for the opportunity to bring this special program to a community that really matters to us. I thank you for your time and your consideration, and we do appreciate the work of city staff in this, and I would be happy to answer any questions or hear your comments. Thank you.
First question for you is dealing with dual diagnosis. How are you treating them normally with drug abuse, substance abuse, and other disorders that go together? You've got a psychological professional who's dealing with their mental health, and also a medical professional who's monitoring their drug abuse and recovery.
Yes.
How are you going about that? I heard you say there are people referring them in.
Right. And coming from our own program as well. And may I invite our Director of Behavioral Health to come forward and answer those kind of programmatic questions?
We can have them come up after we get whatever questions.
I think I'd like to defer
yeah.
that one to the expert.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you mentioned TIC care. What about anything else you guys are doing? Do you have any medically assisted treatments, or, because I think this is a non-medical facility, correct?
This is a non-medical facility.
Okay, what about any evidence-based treatments or cognitive behavior therapies? Are you using any of those as well?
I would have to defer that one to our program expert, too. I
Perfect.
don't want to get out of my area.
That's
here.
fine. Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
No, thank you. It was a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your program, who is funding it? Is it the San Diego County or is it California State? Or
It is we are contracted with the County of San Diego.
So the county is funding it?
Yes.
Okay. And why did you choose this location rather than any other location?
Well, these kinds of sites are hard to come by. And we were blessed with a very generous bequest a few years ago from a longtime donor, and we were just looking for the right place to do something with great impact in the community. And so when we found this site, we just felt like this was the one. It was a great, big, beautiful building that we saw so much potential in that we're going to create into a healing, lovely, beautiful space. And we like this community. We want to be part of this community. We've enjoyed having our Accord Center here in El Cajon in East County. So we just felt like this was meant to be, honestly.
And the residents, are they free to come and go as they please?
Well, it will be a gated, locked community or facility. And I mean, they can leave if they want to, but this is a residential treatment program where they check in and they are there for the duration. They're not coming and going. If, for instance, there was a need for a client to cease treatment, we would find them an alternative. We're not just going to show them the door. That's not who we are. That's not in alignment with our values. So we would find another option for them and make sure that they're taken care of.
And are they allowed to have visitors in the facility?
No.
Okay. So if they wish to leave at night and then come back later,
No.
that's not allowed?
No.
They have to stay in the program? Okay. So it's a combination, from what I gather, it's a combination of both, drug abuse plus homelessness.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
I do, I'll try to stay within your wheelhouse because I think his question is very important. First of all, it's needed. If you guys weren't going to be here, the need will remain. So that needs to be said. But just from a logistical standpoint, I want to go back to the calls for service. Again, I think that those calls for service will be a little bit higher, not intended because of the facility, but because of the clientele that are drawn, and they only know 911, for example. They just default to that. Would you be opposed to, and the words escaped me at the time, but off-duty hour phone calls, like a sign for off-duty concerns, to have it like some kind of an off-duty phone line that they can call instead of calling 911, or neighbors, instead of calling 911 and tying up our limited resources, to call like a line that's always available.
Yes, when you brought that up earlier, I was intrigued by that, and I'm definitely open to exploring that. I think that would be a solution.
I think it would help with your calls for services and keep you off of the radar with that.
Thank you for that.
You answered the question about walk-ins. I'm trying to go quickly. Cameras. Are there going to be cameras?
Well, all of our sites have security cameras.
Beautiful. Security?
That'll have to turn to my. We will have on-site, 24-hour on-site staff. I'm not sure about security.
Okay. No, your presentation answered most of my questions. Thank you for coming. I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the
I do
opportunity.
have one more
Yes, sir.
question. What's the success rate on other facilities that you have in San Diego, insofar as people coming back to receive more service?
Well, we don't want them coming back. We love our clients, but we want them to keep moving forward. I would have to defer again to my colleague, our behavioral health director, if she has any stats available for you. But we do take pride that, our clients, they move on and they keep moving on. And sometimes they come back to our sites and they mentor our current clients, and it's a really beautiful thing. So we do feel that our approach is we really invest in these people, and we help them to put their lives back together and go on to be contributing members of society.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
One
you.
more question.
Just the only question,
sir.
You mentioned 30 staff, you'll have an average of about 13 there per day. What's it look like at night? How many staff will be there around the clock?
That would be fewer staff overnight. Again, I would have to ask my director.
All right.
Mile wide and an inch deep here.
You're fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. I appreciate you very much.
All right. Who's up next?
And that would be Wendy Garcia.
Wendy was just, is here for support or questions.
Okay.
Okay. And then what about the
behavioral health director?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Embry Tapia. I'm the Director of Behavioral Health Services at ECS. I would love to answer some of your questions.
All right. My first question was dealing with the dual diagnosis.
Yes.
What kind of medical support will you have for your clients?
One of the primary important goals when anybody comes into our program is linking them right to a primary care physician, whether it be our federally qualified health centers, making sure they have the medical services that they need. So that's priority. So if there is some medical needs that they're needing to address, that right away we get them appointments and get all of the medications, everything that they need. So while they're in our care, we're able to support them with those medical needs.
Okay.
So you guys do monitor their medications?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I know that you mentioned you do the trauma informative care.
Yes.
What about evidence-based treatments or cognitive behavior therapy?
Yes, no, great question. We provide motivational interviewing. That's an evidence-based practice, relapse prevention, cognitive behavioral therapy, psychoeducation. All of that is required and trained for our staff. We provide those trainings, as well as ASAM. It's a clinical assessment that we provide for our clients to make sure that they're in the proper level of care with the necessary services that they need for that care.
Great. Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Sotile.
In other locations, do you have a women-only facility as
Right.
well as a men-only facility?
There are women facilities in the county of San Diego that we're actually can refer to if someone is in need of residential treatment. This facility will be primarily male.
Male. Is there a reason for that?
The
Why choose-
need, it's the need. There is a high demand for male beds, and so we're wanting to address that need within the community.
Okay. And do you ever have any problems in your facilities, someone that's drug dealing?
If there
Selling drugs.
is, we address that right away, and we're not able to have any type of behavior on site. So that is something we address right away if that is happening. And one thing that we ensure is that we have regular rounds. Our staff are required regularly to make sure that they're going through the facility on a regular basis so that any type of behavior is addressed right away.
Okay.
Yes.
And I have one more question.
Yes.
Insofar as the impact on neighborhoods,
Yes.
the other facility that you have, what kind of impact do you have on the neighborhoods insofar as having homeless people loiter around the facility or other problems with the neighborhood? Is there anything that has happened in the past?
So if there's anything that happens within our programs, we make sure to address it right away. Having the programs available in the community, it does help and support the overall impact of the community. So if there are things that come up, we do want to address it. We want to be good neighbors, like Elizabeth said. We want to make sure that we support the community. If there is anything going on, we are making sure that staff are informed, they're well aware, and that they have the training necessary so that they can support the community and the program that we're in and operating in, yes.
And I also read that you have some facilities in San Francisco.
We are local in San Diego. Episcopal Community Services is a large organization. We are specific to San Diego.
San Diego. Okay.
Yes.
Do you know any facts regarding the other facilities like the ones in San Francisco?
I'm not aware, but Elizabeth may be able to speak to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Pollock.
Other questions?
Just a question.
Yes.
I know the success rate. I know people asked about the success rate. Do you have any data on that, or does someone else have any data on?
I believe there was some data related to the overall outcomes for individuals that enter into treatment. They're able to access services, they're able to get education, job placement, be able to address their medical and their mental health needs, stable housing. So those are all the goals that we want to address. But as far as data specifics, I believe we can provide that if you would like more in-depth and details for that.
And then it's a 90-day facility, so they have the 90 days, and then they move on, and then you open the bed
Yes,
for another.
we actually have an outpatient treatment program in the North Park area. So a lot of our clients are going to be referred to outpatient treatment once they're done with our residential program, which is great because they can continue that care and continue in their recovery long term.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just saw here it says economic stability greater than 70% exit to employment.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really important that we make sure that they have the life skills necessary in order to continue long-term recovery. They might start with us in the residential, but like I mentioned, we do have an outpatient so they can continue learning and gaining those life skills in order to gain stability, gain long-term potential in their recovery. So it's really important for us.
Any further questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your questions. Have a good evening. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other speaker cards?
No further speakers for this item.
Do we have anyone else who wishes to speak on this item? All right. I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Circo, second by Commissioner Edison. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right. So what say you?
Well, I know that there was another residential care facility that we had dealt with this year. I mean, that's apples to oranges. I mean, this, from what I've seen, and I'm hoping that's remains true, it looks like ECS has really got their ducks in a row. They've been doing it for a while. I do like the fact that it is volunteer and it's referral based. It's not like a court order type deal. I like what they're going to do at the place. You know, overall, obviously there's a need, and it sounds like they know what they're doing, so.
And I think it's a good location. You know, it's mostly businesses. It's, you know, with the Board of Realtors, it's 2 doors down. But so I've heard there used to be another business in here for a while that housed people, and it worked just fine there for a long time. But I always heard a lot of noise, so it'd be nice to hear different noise. But but it is a good location for something like this, and the need is there.
Well, to be honest, I have some concerns, and I'm going to go down the findings and address the concerns that I have. Finding A, which talks about the policy 5-8.1, it is anticipated that supportive services and facilities for people with special needs, including people with substance abuse, shall be provided. Further, the environmental justice element promotes access to medical facilities, and policy 1.5 promotes healthy residential communities. There are not applicable specific plans. Well, it talks about environmental justice element. However, the environmental justice element specifically states for medical facilities. This is going to be a non-medical facilities. And substance abuse for residents, usually it does impact the community. It impacts the neighborhood, impacts the people around the community, and also the city. And if it's bringing in more homeless people from other areas, whatever area that might be, it might be increasing the population, the homeless population here in El Cajon. When people get out of the facilities, if they go back to their needs, usually they stay where they came out of. Additionally, there's a bus service, so people can come and go from other areas taking the bus, whether it be a patient or whether it be a drug dealer, whatever the case may be. The other one is finding B. Does it change the aesthetic and the character by introducing substance abuse people and drug dealers to the community in place of intellectually disabled people? I have no problem with intellectually disabled people because we're talking about apples and oranges. Intellectually disabled people have other issues other than drug use and criminality. That's primarily. Finding C, planned use is incompatible with the commercial and residential use in that it may disrupt business and not promote opportunities for enjoyment of the neighborhood and the foot traffic as well. So those are all my concerns. Finding D, it will disrupt foot traffic. I already mentioned that already. Then finding E, I don't think it's the best interest of the public and convenience and necessity, since it would import substance abuse people into the community and drug dealers. So those are my concerns. For me, I think it's wonderful that what you're doing, the program that you're doing. However, this is a commercial area and a residential area. I could understand if it's people far away from commercial use or residential areas, because the opportunity of disrupting a community is less. But here it's in the middle of El Cajon on Broadway Avenue, where there's business all around. So I don't think it is compatible with a community. That's my findings.
I'm curious, Commissioner Sotile.
Yes.
The East County Transitional Living Center, which has a similar plan, similar game plan, similar structure, also similar location. Do you have the same feelings about that one?
It's in East County?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Main Street.
Mile away.
Yeah, I know where it's at. It's been there for a while, and it's been successful, but we're increasing that population by having other facilities. So and also East County facilities, if there's a drug abuse people who are being treated, they send them out in the country. They don't stay in that facility. They go elsewhere for drug treatment.
Okay.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit. Regarding to your first finding of A, I will defer to our attorney on that one to see if there was a compatibility issue there. Regarding first issue, will it import more homelessness? No, the homeless are already here. They're just not being treated. As far as the bus, I think it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing that it's on the bus route because they can get to where they need to go because as the applicant said, their goal is to get them out. A lot of us, I dealt with this for 25 years. A lot of these guys are on Medi-Cal. That means they get free Uber and Lyft rides. So even if it wasn't on the bus route, they get free Uber and Lyft rides wherever they need to go. That's actually part of the county plan. As far as impact to the community, I disagree. I live literally a mile away from the East County Transitional Living Center. There's been, I'm not going to say there's no impact because that would be an absolute statement, which I'm not a fan of, but I will say there's little impact at all to the community in that. My concerns with the questions that I had were in regard to what we've dealt with in the past of other residential treatment centers, which, like you said, it was apples and oranges. And I'll say it to the applicants as well. The issues that were there were people that were coming around to the center that were not related to the center, and they were making phone calls, 911 calls, and we saw the increase for calls for service. It just went up. That's why I disagree a little bit with where we're at with the calls for service. I think it'll go up, and I don't know that it's going to be because of the applicant. I think it might, like you said, you know, some of the neighboring people or maybe some neighbors that just don't like it. I think that the sign saying if you have any off-the-hour phone calls or concerns, here's the number, here's our complaint line, have at it. I think that would help. As far as, because it's referral-based, I know that you guys are going to, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of state laws that they are required to follow. They just can't just take anybody in. So not having walk-ins is a great thing. That means that they have a metric and a barometer that they have to follow. If they're not, they are removed. I do agree with you that sometimes they do tend to come back to the community. Get off at 2nd Street, they're already there. I mean, they're just not getting any treatment. And my final thought as far as mental health, I'm going to stay within my wheelhouse, but that goes to the chicken or the egg. Does mental health cause drug disorder, or does drug disorder cause the mental health disorder? Does it even matter? What matters is I think that we need people like this that are willing to do the good work. I think we got to be careful and make sure that El Cajon doesn't become just disproportionate where everybody comes. I do agree with you on those concerns, but I don't think we're anywhere near that metric.
Commissioner Paula Grud?
Well, in listening to what they had to say, you know, it is a locked facility and they're not really coming going from my understanding because you can't get better if you're constantly being reintroduced to society where you're reintroduced to it. So that's another reason why I asked for the gate, to make sure that they stay. I'm not trying to lock people in, but I want them to get the treatment. For the facility itself, you know, they are correct. It's hard to find locations that allow this and are set up, and this is set up very well for what they're needing to do. So it saves them a ton of money to spend the money on improving the site, which was good for the city of El Cajon, but most of the meat and potatoes are already there for them. So it's just a plug and play, make it pretty, and then start business for it. So I think there is homeless here. I live not on 2nd Street. I live right at the border of La Mesa, yet I still have people who walk or talking to themselves, sleep in their cars. They're here all over the county. So and that is referral based. I like that because it's more effective, I think, if they want the treatment, because if you force someone, they're not going to do it. But if anything we can do to get a couple less people off the street and back being working members of El Cajon, and if they do, and they do stay here and they do get a job, I think it's great because That's what, we need people here that are, contributing to the city of El Cajon.
Yeah. Commissioner Rose?
Yeah, what I would recommend is if, and I heard Commissioner Sotile's concerns, and I heard Commissioner Ellison's concerns with calls for service, is why don't we just do a 6-month review? Once they're open, not 6 months from today, it's going to be a little bit, and we can hear the success stories and see what calls for service look like, and see if there's any residents that, got the notice but didn't show up that have concerns. But I would think that, a 6-month review after the facility's open would be a good idea.
Staff, is that appropriate?
Yes, if the commission desires to have a 6-month review of the conditional use permit, that typically would not be a public hearing. It would just be a review of the conditional use permit without providing notice to the surrounding property owners, but we would certainly be happy to bring back that data so that the commission can understand how the facility is operating.
Right. Okay.
And if I may, just to add on, with regards to the general plan consistency finding, I think the challenging part of the general plan is it really gives you those high-arching goals, and then it follows up with objectives and policies. When you look at both the general plan as well as the environmental justice element, what it talks about is having treatment facilities and services that are in close proximity to those neighborhoods. So in this instance, I think it can be a challenge because part of the licensing aspect for this facility is that they're non-medical, and that has different ramifications for them from staffing and other aspects of it. The way I would look at it from the general plan perspective is that this is a facility that's providing services to the community, and although it's non-medical, it is consistent with the substance abuse and special needs types of access that people need.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Having actually worked at the East County Transitional Living Center for a year, serving the needs of people who have great needs, I see that this is something that we need in the community. And rather than bringing in people who don't have homes, it's bringing people who want treatment to a center where they can get treatment. The game plan looks good. The facility is ideal for this, and it's not tucked into a neighborhood. It's on Broadway, but I live off of 2nd Street. I have homeless people walk through my backyard. It is what it is. We need the help. So I'm all for this. And in fact, if there's no further discussion, I'll be happy to make the motion. I move to adopt the next resolutions in order, approving the proposed CEQA exemption and CUP 2026-0002, subject to conditions.
Month review.
Can we add the 6-month review just so we can see and hear how you're doing? All right.
I will gladly second this.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Serco, seconded by Commissioner Edison. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-1 with Commissioner Sochile, no.
All right. And this one is not going to City Council.
That is correct. This decision is final unless appealed.
All right. We have one more item on our agenda. That is, thank you, agenda item number 4, the Valley Motel expansion. This is a request to expand the existing motel. It is CEQA exempt. Staff is recommending approve conditional use permit and a minor amendment. All right, we'll give you a couple more seconds to get set up.
Okay. Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Mike Villione, Senior Planner with the Development Services Department. The final item on this evening's agenda is a request to expand the Valley Motel, submitted by Diane Zora of Census and Spaces. The subject site is addressed as 581 through 585 North Mollison Avenue and is on the east side of the street between Interstate 8 and East Madison Avenue. The site is designated general commercial in the general plan with a corresponding general commercial zoning designation. The lot area is just under half an acre and is developed with a nearly 13,000 square foot commercial building containing a 17-room motel with caretaker unit and a liquor store, which occupies the west half of the ground floor along the street. The subject site is adjacent to multifamily residential to the south and single-family residential to the east. Across North Mollison to the west are various commercial uses and single-family residential development. The site is also integrated with the gas station to the north and governed by shared planning permits, though they are separate private properties. Conditional use permit number 256, for example, authorizes and regulates both the existing liquor store and the gas station. Similarly, specific plan number 68 governs the physical development of the properties and provides for shared private access between them. The specific plan also reserves a single space on the gas station property for the motel. Consistent with municipal code requirements for the establishment and expansion of motels and specific plan conformance requirements, the Valley Motel expansion project includes applications for conditional use permit and a minor amendment to specific plan number 68. The conditional use permit application requests expansion of the motel to 27 rooms within the commercial building. The remodel includes removal and reallocation of the existing ground floor liquor store and caretaker's unit spaces for motel use as lobby, storage, and additional guest rooms. Exterior building alterations include necessary features like windows and ventilation systems, as well as building facade improvements. An operations manual to ensure compatible operations also accompanies the application. The minor amendment, on the other hand, is proposed to update the governing physical development plan to reflect the proposed use and parking configuration. The site plan for the proposed motel expansion is shown here. All elements are existing except for the parking space immediately next to the building. This space will be restriped from a parallel stall into a standard 90-degree direct entry parking space outfitted with a wheel stop to protect the building. The site plan provides a total of 28 parking spaces, including 27 on-site and one off-site space on adjacent gas station property through specific plan number 68, which is highlighted for your reference. Total off-street parking is consistent with parking standards, which require one space for each room plus one space per 300 square feet of area used for offices, restaurants, lounges, or similar uses. Existing bicycle parking also exceed code requirements, with the rack providing sufficient space for 4 bicycles. No other improvements are necessary or proposed. The driveway entrance off North Mollison was improved to city standards as a requirement of the recent 2015 amendment to conditional use permit number 256. A double bin trash enclosure with roof was constructed and completed in 2025, and mature landscaping along Mollison Avenue is present and will remain. Here is the proposed ground floor plan for the motel. Highlighted in blue are 9 first-floor motel rooms. The 6 on the bottom of the plan occupy the former liquor store space and face Mollison Avenue. Those shown on the top face east toward the back parking lot and are created through the elimination of the former caretaker unit and a conversion of a storage space. Proposed rooms range between 315 and 340 square feet along Mollison Avenue and 245 and 280 square feet along the parking lot. Visible in the plan are proposed AC units with metal picket screening to serve the rooms along Mollison Avenue. These would be situated behind the landscaping. Also included on the west side of the building in the area of the former liquor store is the 300 square feet lobby with a glass wall which fronts on Mollison Avenue. Finally, 2 new motel storage spaces totaling 620 square feet and highlighted in green are incorporated at the north end of the ground floor. On the upper story, proposed floor plan alterations consist of the division of an existing room into 2 rooms of nearly 215 square feet each. Air conditioning units for both ground floor and second floor rooms facing the parking lot are wall mounted as reflected here. Note that all mechanical systems will require screening in compliance with noise performance standards. New matching metal railings at balconies and mechanical screening along Mollison Avenue is identified here as well. Here are the proposed north and west elevations visible from North Mollison Avenue. Of note are the large glass wall system at the lobby, the stone veneer, which extends from the lobby across existing block walls, as well as the proposed matching metal picket railings and mechanical screening. Consistent with city architectural guidelines, exterior alterations preserve and continue the building design, but enhance its visual interest with updated and varied facade materials. As with other recent motel applications, the current request includes an operations and management manual, which was reviewed by the El Cajon Police Department. Protocols and policies include 24-hour staffing requirements, check-in procedures requiring photo identification, parking permitting procedures, prohibition on unregistered guests, daily quiet hours, maintenance standards, security features such as lighting and security cameras, among others. The application and management manual also indicate that the motel will not participate in emergency housing placement programs. Draft conditions require implementation of the manual and its ongoing refinement, and separately provide for a cost recovery mechanism if emergency or nuisance calls exceed one call per room per year, or 27 total calls annually. It is proposed that the project is exempt from environmental review requirements pursuant to Section 15301 of the California Environmental Quality Act guidelines. Section 15301 provides an exemption for operation and minor alteration of existing facilities, including additions up to 10,000 square feet in similar circumstances. 2 public comments were received in response to the public notice. One sought clarification of the project scope and expressed support. The other similarly sought clarification and expressed concerns related to the adequacy of parking and potential emergency housing operations. All required findings for the conditional use permit and determinations for the minor amendment can be made in the affirmative. The motel expansion results in a more cohesive development better suited to the adjacent sensitive uses, and staff therefore recommend Planning Commission approval of the CEQA determination, conditional use permit, and minor amendment subject to conditions, including termination of alcohol sales and deemed approved lodging status at building permit issuance. This concludes staff's report, and I can answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions for staff?
What is the cost per service? What is the cost per service that area right now?
We don't have data recently on the existing calls for service, but consistent with other motel and hotel uses lodging establishments, the threshold has been set at 1 call per room per year in aggregate.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may add, we do have monthly meetings that we conduct with the police department regarding code compliance and problem properties. We do review the motels throughout the region, and I can attest that this facility has been well operated with no concerns from the police department.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, any questions for staff? No. All right, let's open the public hearing. Do we have any speaker cards?
No speaker cards for this item.
All right. Do we have anybody who wants to speak on this? Come on up. After you speak, you can grab a card and fill it out.
Good evening. I'm the architect on this job, and I just wanted to say that the property owner has reviewed the conditions of approval and is in agreement with the conditions, and we're here to answer any questions you guys may have.
We appreciate that.
It looks nice.
Yeah. I don't think we have any questions for you. This is an unusual project because at some point in the past it was a motel and the liquor store got added, and at some point in the past the pool got filled in, and now you're putting it back to motel, so that's kind of cool.
Mr. Chairman, may I add just one thing, just for the benefit of the applicant? In advance of the public hearing, there was a question asked of me about the conditional use permit. So I confirmed as part of that the conditional use permit is set to expire within 2 years. So it affords the applicant the next 2 years to look at options for selling or relocating that liquor store. Should he take no action, the liquor store could continue to remain operating forever. And then the conditional use permit would just expire The applicant would also have the opportunity, if he isn't able to take action to sell the liquor store license within that time period, to ask for an extension of time that would be processed by staff.
Okay, so if they can't sell the liquor store and move that somewhere else, then
Yes.
they can continue operating. But if they can sell it, then they can do all the rest of the.
Yes, that's the goal that the applicant has told to me, and part of the issue is that for we have an overconcentration of liquor stores here in the city of El Cajon, and our opportunities for relocating those are based on census tracts as well as crime data, and so as of right now, there doesn't appear to be an opportunity, but some of the crime rates in nearby census tracts to this facility have been decreasing, so that opportunity may be afforded in the coming year or two.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you. All right.
I remember a couple of years ago, there was a compliance issue that the city council addressed that had to do with the motel and the liquor store. So is the liquor store considering continuing there, or they want to sell their license? You know what?
So the compliance action is actually dating to 2015, which resulted in the conditional use permit amendment to for number 256, where the liquor store was expanded without prior authorization. Once they received the violation, they sought the conditional use permit amendment, processed that, and then obtained building permits to correct the necessary violations. I think going back to what Noah just expressed, that there is a desire to relocate or sell the liquor license, which would probably be the component that would unlock the ability to develop or expand the motel.
Okay, so they have 2 years to accomplish that.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I move to close the public hearing.
I second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Circo, seconded by Commissioner Pollock-Rude. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right. So this is opening up the opportunity to develop the motel where the liquor store currently is, and they've got 2 years to get that going. So I think it's a good project.
Yep. It is.
I'd like to make a motion.
Go for it.
Okay. I move to adopt the next resolution in order approving the CEQA exempt conditional use permit number 2025-007 and a minor amendment number 2025-0009, subject to conditions.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Sotile, seconded by Commissioner Pollock-Rude. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right, we wish you success. This is not going to be heard by City Council, so this is final unless someone appeals. And I don't think anyone's going to appeal this one. All right, thank you. Let's see, do we have any other items for consideration?
No additional items for consideration from staff and no staff communications this evening.
Okay, any commissioner reports or comments? All right. Anybody wish to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion made by Commissioner Rose, second by Commissioner Pollock-Rude. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right. See you next time.
How do you turn this thing off?